starts us off this Wednesday afternoon. Raywat, how big is this?
It's huge and surprising to me as well. I didn't expect this until September or so. It was going to happen sometime this year, but it to happen right now is pretty big. What this means is we can start planning for a return to full-time schooling, and it means we can probably factor in children now in our herd immunity calculations. Before that was not possible.
What is it about Health Canada and their approval process that is sometimes better or faster than anywhere else?
That's a really good question. I don't really know. I guess we're good at it. You know, we get all the ducks in order and then we descend upon it overwhelmingly. Also, we do things in real time. So with this emergency, data is being assessed as it appears. We don't wait for all the data to be there and then have a big meeting and look over it. All the experts are looking at the data as it is released. So that saves a lot of time.
Okay, I hate to be the butt in the room, but I'll be the butt. So Dr. Reimer saying today, and the other task force co-lead says, listen, right now they're banking on the 12 plus, and that all people 12 plus in Manitoba will be able to book their shot by May 21st here in Manitoba. The caveat or the big but is the fact that Dr. Joss Reimer says, yes, Health Canada has approved it. However, we're waiting for the NACI recommendation. And NACI's been under a bit of fire this week, as you know, kind of stirring the pot and making people a little unsure about getting the AstraZeneca shot. So could NACI's recommendations really throw a fly into the ointment?
I don't think so. Provinces are free to disregard NACI, and they have in the past. You know, whether it comes to which demographic gets the vaccine or which vaccines to use. So the NACI voice is just one voice in the system, an important voice that should be listened to for the most part, but provinces are free to disregard them if they want, and it looks like some are. So I wouldn't consider that to be a big barrier.
Okay, that is good to know. And as we move forward, you said that we can now, include say 12 to 17-year-olds in the herd immunity calculation. They hadn't been included before?
You can. I mean, if we assume that 70% is the threshold for herd immunity, it's probably higher than that. 70% of the Canadian population is over 18. So you kind of want all the adults to get the vaccine if you want to hit herd immunity. But now that kids are in play, we can now have some leeway for vaccine hesitancy. If we can get most of the kids vaccinated, that gets us closer to those magic numbers. I don't know if we're going to get there, frankly, but it helps.
And we also heard from Health Canada's medical lead that other companies, and probably Pfizer, are trialing right now shots in kids as young as 6 months. So we're hearing about 12 plus right now, but it could be the fall when we're hearing about shots for very young children.
It could be. Now, that timetable really surprises me. I didn't expect the under 12s to be getting it until next year. I know Johnson & Johnson is trialing it as well, and I'd be surprised if we start using that vaccine against the very young, given the risk of clotting via this thing called VIPIT. So a lot of variables are at play here. The good news is that we have at least one vaccine that we can use for children, and that number will likely drop. The age threshold will likely drop in coming months. So normality is in sight.
With Raywat Deonandan from the University of Ottawa, Richard and Julie with you. Manitoba reporting 272 new COVID-19 cases today, 2 deaths. Provincially, our 5-day test positivity rate, 8.8%, 9.2% here in Winnipeg. Ontario cases down, but just under 3,000. Quebec, 915. Nova Scotia, 175 new cases. So as you look coast to coast, what are you seeing?
I see we're still in trouble. Ontario, under 3,000. Yeah, the trajectory is downward, but 3,000 is a huge number. We had said 3,000 3 months ago. We said that's impossible. Now we consider that a good thing. We have adults in pediatric ICU units. That's unheard of. So we're still in crisis. Nova Scotia having that many cases when before they had almost zero, that is not good. Quebec is a good news situation. It looks like their strategy of getting doses into as many arms as possible is paying off. Ontario, we expect to have the majority of adults vaccinated maybe by the end of this month, if all goes well, or at least 1 dose into them. So there is good news on the horizon, but right now we're still in the fire.
When can we expect to really see a that impact on herd immunity, because as I look at our wire service, they're saying that really things in the United States could look very good by July. And we're just hearing in Manitoba, as of today, 500,000 doses have been administered. So that's 40% of our population. We're keeping it at around 300 cases a day, but as that vaccination number grows, can we expect that 300 to drop?
Yeah, it will drop. The question is when. It's going to take weeks, if not months, for it to drop. And I think we have to stop relying upon the magical number of herd immunity to be this inflection point after which everything is perfect. It isn't going to happen that way. There isn't going to be one day when suddenly this all goes away. We're going to be living with something of a public health issue for months, if not years. But we will cease to be afraid of this in a few months. So we're doing everything that has to be done. The vaccines are getting into the right arms. Now we just have to make sure that we all line up and accept it when it is our turn.
On mostly a good news day, Raywat Deonandan, as always, we